What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So, finally putting out Temple's first build video, because I was kind of hoping they would fix a really big issue with Temple reducing their damage a ton. That being said, Temple is still a very fun frame that can dish out lots of red crit damage. So let's hop into my build, and I'm also going to talk about what is actually not working properly with Temple that will make them a lot more stronger in the future. So yeah, let's hop right in. But before we do, make sure to sub this channel, do daily Warframe videos, and also we'll be live on stream tonight with some farming, like Warframe farming, and giving away some Omniforma bundles too, so come on and stop by the live stream channel if you haven't already. Okay, so Temple, the rocker frame, they got a exalted guitar, and also some crit buffs, and some pretty decent survivability abilities as well. So, as far as the idea of Temple, you want to use the metronome meter in the middle of your screen to cast abilities on the beat. You don't necessarily need to do this, but it does give you bonus effects on your abilities, and also makes it where you can use your exalted guitar called Lizzie that can do a ton of damage. Honestly, if you're looking for a frame that can do Elite Deep Archimedean and Elite Templar Archimedia with pretty much no luck required, you got a great frame right here, an Exalted Flamethrower that can hit lots of enemies too with the build we got today. So let's hop right in and discuss what these abilities do and how you can get the most out of these abilities. Okay, so we're going to go back to the sim now, and here we are. So now as far as the abilities of Temple, technically Temple is also named Flare, but I like the name Flare better, but Temple works too. That's what DE would decide to name them. Alright, so we got the first ability called Pyrotechnics. Create some fire pillars, and you can change energy color of them and stuff like that. Now, the thing is, this ability was a lot better at launch. DE decided to make it where Temple's damage buff does not affect this ability anymore, so this ability is basically helmet fodder now. It's also Temple's helmet ability too, so it kind of makes sense. So you got Pyrotechnics ability, you can get lots of heat procs for Arcane Hot Shot. This Arcane basically feels like it's made for Temple, giving crit chance to weapons after you get heat procs. So that's a good way to do that. It can also give your third ability more of a heat bonus and more of a duration. So we move on to the second ability now. The second ability is called Overdrive. It will, depending on how much range you have, it will crit debuff enemies. So they're more likely to take red crits and orange crits. If you hit this on the metronome in the middle, it doubles the crit chance bonus, which when we go to the actual build will tie into what we're doing there as well. So now that we've done metronome on the 1, metronome on the 2, we're going to use the third ability. This makes us invincible and fully restores our shields and health. That ability is very good with Arcane Aegis to make you basically invincible. It's also very good adaptation too. Since we have heat procs on our abilities, we're going to want to run Archon Vitality. So we're going to have over 1,000 health anyway, so adaptation can make us very tanky on Temple. Now that we fill up our meter, we're going to use the fourth ability to summon Lizzie, the Exalted Guitar. Lizzie has a lot of stuff going on. So first off, when you are not ADSing, you can just use your Flamethrower, get some good red crits with Arcane Hot Shot. But once you ADS, you can do Forced Proc. So once you ADS, you have new abilities. In the bottom right corner, we got Viral, Magnetic, Cold, and Corrosive. These are Forced Procs. If you hit the meter in the middle, it's going to be more Forced Procs. And yeah, these could actually hit pretty hard. If you proc them up, then shoot them with that, you can hit millions of damage on the right build. You can also play Smoke in the Water. You can literally play Smoke in the Water while you're DPSing, so pretty fun. Okay, so now that we've established what Temple's abilities do, also when you get the metronome on these abilities, you get more efficiency too. So pretty easy to run blind range on Temple with a somewhat decent energy economy. Oh, I did say that they technically made the third ability not work on Temple's 1, so we're going to actually move on to a build that does not have Temple's 1. So, here's the thing I want to talk about too, with a glitch with Ripper's Wail. So this ability, the third ability Temple, gives a massive heat damage buff, but here's the issue, and a lot of other creators have also commented on this as well. This heat damage buff, which is 213 with this current setup, does not work on heat DOT. So you will do more heat upfront damage, but once you look at the DOT caused by it, that 213 does not factor into the heat DOT, sadly. So if that gets fixed, Temple will be a heat proc like monster. They still can do very good heat procs, but yeah, there is definitely a massive chunk of damage missing if you take that into account. So here's the build I've been running on Temple. Here's the build I've been running on Temple more, though. It's the exact same build as this one. but instead of rolling guard, we've got adaptation. This is going to be for EDA content. So like I said, third ability, Ripper's Wail, gives you full shields and health. So adaptation gives you 9% DR from the type of damage you get hit by. So you basically stack up your adaptation, then cast your 3, and then you're pretty much a tank after that. Even going further, Arcane Aegis, on shield damage, you will be invincible for like 12 seconds. So that's very, very good with a build like this. And Arcane Hotshot, I know it's very rare, but let me use it on Temple because it makes sense on Temple. You get increased weapon crit chance when you get heat procs from abilities. And Temple has heat procs from their 4 and from their 1. They also technically have heat damage from their 2, but not heat procs. So you can unfortunately not get Arcane Hotshot stacks from Overdrive. But yeah, this also gives you crit chance too. So when we add this with our amount of power strength right now, 71, if you're on the metronome, you get double that crit chance. You're at 142. We go one step further, we add the Adarza Kavat for 60% more. We're at 202% crit chance additive added to all weapons. So your Torrent's going to go from, well, at least mine's at 207 right now. It goes to 409% crit chance. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's before Arcane Hotshot. If you take Arcane Hotshot into account, it's like 500% crit chance, but let's not worry about that right now. But yeah, Temple's nice, lazy tank build. We can go ahead and show that real quick on some enemies getting summoned in. Keep in mind that Temple is not supposed to be like a face tank, tank master, but you definitely can do that, and we're going to hopefully show that successfully here. So if Arcane Aegis procs, we're basically good to go. If it doesn't proc, you just keep spamming your 3 until you got it. So we already got Arcane Aegis to proc, so not exactly the most fair. You do also go invincible from your 3, but you cannot proc Arcane Aegis while you're invincible, unfortunately. So you see right there, we're stacking adaptation. As soon as our shield gets kind of low, our health gets kind of low, we just cast our 3 and we're totally safe. Like, there's really not much to worry about as Temple. So now that we've gotten some of our 4th ability ammo, let's go ahead and summon Lizzie. And now that we've got Nourish, we get some guaranteed viral procs in there too. Stack it up, get some red crits. Maybe a little bit of, smoke on the water while we're at it. Well, I think I misplayed smoke on the water, but it's okay. My Guitar Hero score will be a little bit lower this mission. So, as you can see, even with adaptation, extremely chill. Like, if you have Aegis and adaptation on this frame, and you have like some amount of energy economy, you feel pretty unkillable. So, yeah, let's go ahead and show the Archon shards. We've got some pretty unique Archon shards on Temple. Let's see if they can actually kill me with my HP. As soon as your HP gets low, just cast 3. There's pretty much no way you die, unless we're talking really, really high level. So, I really recommend Temple for EVA, ETA level content. If they do fix Ripper's Wail, if they make it work on heat DOTs, they'll be really good for level 10,000. But as of right now, I don't really like Temple as much for level 10,000. Okay, so let's go over the very unique interactions we have with our Archon shards here. Now, since Lizzie and like the heat proc of Ripper's Wail does not work with DOTs right now, I've gone for a more unique build. Starting off with Prime Firestorm. So, since Lizzie is technically just an exalted Ignis Wraith, I've got Prime Firestorm on here, and I've got proof right now that it does actually work. So the way Prime Firestorm functions is that it increases the AoE size of blast radius weapons. And technically, flamethrowers in Warframe are AoE weapons. So I'm going to go ahead and show you right now, it does work. So here we are in the sim. And this is with Prime Firestorm. So you see I hit the gunner on the left and the gunner on the right, sitting on top of that pillar. Now if I take Prime Firestorm off, the hitbox becomes smaller, and we are not hitting those enemies with the same exact spot. So, between that and between Heavy Caliber, the AoE is massively increased on Lizzie. So you can basically cover an entire hallway without even having to, like, remotely aim at any enemies. It's such a wild hitbox with these mods thrown on there that it becomes actually AoE. So, here's the before and after right now. So we go ahead, this is without Prime Firestorm. As you see, the Heavy Gunner on the right is no longer being hit. So that's your proof right there. If I move the car a little bit, yeah, I can hit them. But there's no way I hit both Heavy Gunners at the same time at that angle. So for lower levels, I would recommend Prime Firestorm for some more AoE, but you don't need to have it. If you want to put on another damage mod there, like a Bane mod, be my guest. Like, that would be pretty good. But remember, the fire DOTs will be not buffed by Ripper's Wail. Now, moving on to what we actually have on here, we got a Blast Electric build. Since Ripper's Wail gives you non-combining heat, this build becomes Blast, Electric, Heat, and then Viral when we're using Nourish. Additionally, Fire Rate does not seem to work on the, Smoke on the Water power cord. So I'd recommend that you don't need a mod for too much Fire Rate, but a little bit of Fire Rate wouldn't be too bad. You can also put Arcane Acceleration on your frame. So, the reason we have Blast Electric with literally just one elemental mod on here is going to be the Archon Shard. So, since Lizzie is considered a primary, we've got a Tau Forge Violet Archon Shard, which gives us primary electric damage. But here's the extra info here at the end. Gain an additional 15% per Crimson, Azure, or Violet Archon Shard. Electricity will combine with mods. So, we could actually, we could stack a lot more electric if we wanted to, but we've actually got a decent amount with just one because it counts the red shard we got for strength and the purple shard we got for equilibrium as the shards that increase. So we're getting, what are we getting? We're getting a 90% electric bonus on here, or rather on our primary with this singular shard. And the rest we get equilibrium from our Tau Forge Violet, makes our energy economy amazing, and more power strength from these Tau Forge Reds make a lot of our abilities a lot stronger. Lizzie's base damage scales off of power strength, Ripper's Wail, heat bonus, and health per second scales with strength. The crit damage, or sorry, the crit chance bonus of Overdrive applies to it, as does the energy multiplier and damage increase of Nourish. So, power strength shards are very good on Temple. Another thing that's very good on Temple as well is to be casting speed, but you don't want to overdo it. So, as far as mathing it out, I've got one Tau Forged casting speed shard. I've also got the natural talent mod on my frame. This is more casting speed than 2 Tau's Archon Shard casting speed. We've got 87.5, and 2 of them is like normally like 74, I think it is. Additionally, if you're on Matter Eye Focus Tree, you can get more casting speed by going in and out of the rift. Now we cast abilities really fast. And also our abilities are pretty usable too, as we actually have a decent amount of range. An earlier version of this build had like basically negative range, but then Ripper's Wail doesn't, or then Overdrive doesn't really have that much range, so I highly recommend getting at least a little bit of range to make your form usable. Oh, get out of the way, Count Kirby. What an unfortunate place for him to die at, huh? Alright guys, so let's move on to the rest of the loadout. Moving on, this is basically a build meant around maining Lizzie. So, the guns I've got equipped don't actually matter. All that really matters is the frame build for Temple, the build for Lizzie, and also the build for Count Mochi, technically, as well, because he is part of our loadout. Okay, so, as far as the finishing touches on the Lazy Tank build, you saw adaptation into effect. Archon Vitality is going to work on Lizzie, giving extra heat procs whenever you do a heat proc with Lizzie. So again, if they ever fix Ripper's Wail, this will be nuts with Temple. It's still really good with Temple right now, but it will be ridiculous with Temple if they ever do fix the abilities not working. Moving on, we got Prime Flow and Prime Continuity. If you were going for like a Blast Toxin build, you could definitely go with Archon Continuity, because that would work on Lizzie as well, to give you some corrosive procs from your Toxin. But the thing is, Ripper's Wail gives so much heat bonus that you're not really proccing that much Toxin in the first place. So I wouldn't really recommend going for Blast Toxin, although if you want to, feel free. Precision Intensify, we are maining Lizzie, so this gives the most power strength for our 4th ability, and this gives Lizzie a big damage buff. Blind Rage and Transient Fortitude are big power strength buffs for everything, which helps because most of these, pretty much all these abilities scale with strength. But yeah, I think Arcane Aegis is one of the best in-slot arcanes for Temple. And since we're not doing any armor strip, corrosive projection does go a pretty long way. Moving on to, we already showed Lizzie. We can show some other Lizzie builds here too. So here's the one I usually use, the Blast Electric one. But here's some other ones too. We got Corrosive Heat. Now keep in mind that I do like this one, but you don't need to actually ever mod for heat on Temple, because Ripper's Wail will have that covered. So we're going to be getting a good amount of corrosive procs, also a ton of heat procs that are not buffed by Ripper's Wail. And as you see how this build has Prime Firestorm, move over to the other one, it's the exact same thing. Without Prime Firestorm, we got Rifle Elementalist instead. Again, I don't want to focus too much on DOTs because of how it works, but blast procs can make enemies explode too, which is pretty nice. So, if they ever fix it, maybe try that one out. Here's the test build right here for when I was showing Serration with, or Firestorm without, and a full damage build back here with Blast Electric. Bane mods do go a pretty long way, so consider that for sure. But yeah, for the most part, guys, Temple is going to be mostly for ETA content. Again, you can play them level 10,000, but if you see people running around with level 10,000 footage of Temple, just remember, try to see what patch it was actually on, because on this current patch, like, you could do good damage, but the heat procs are definitely lacking. So let's go ahead and show the Adarza Kavat, and we can talk a little bit about Temple's closing thoughts. Temple is a very, very strong frame. So here's the Adarza Kavat build. Cat's Eye required. Tenacious Bond gives you more crit damage on Lizzie. Pretty nice. And if you have Reinforced Bond as well, this can give you more fire rate on Lizzie for the the non-smoke on the water attacks. And, oh, by the way, the way you do this too, since this cat does not have enough shields, here's what you do. You put synth mods on your pistol, and it's an auto reload while holstered. And the auto reload while holstered will count for the synth mod. So let me go ahead and show you how that works. Fire out the compressor, and then switch. See how Count Mochi's shield just went up? Now Count Mochi has procced Reinforced Bond with the 1400 shields. So if we summon Lizzie, we should get that bonus now. Oh, by the way, if you summon Lizzie on the metronome, it removes the energy cost of Lizzie. And also, Lizzie's attacks do not consume energy; they consume Lizzie's special like energy source of them. Basically, the metronome is Lizzie's fuel. There we go, right there. Our beam weapon is increased in DPS because of the fire rate. Very, very nice. We can also do more damage too. These enemies can actually survive. So as you get a lot more, if you proc them up, we got Galvanized Aptitude on here, it does a lot of damage. Like, multiple million damage in one tick easily, so. But the issue is they usually die before they're procced up because we're so strong, so. Yeah, let's go ahead and go closing thoughts on Temple, and as far as if you should farm them or not. Alright, so Temple is definitely, like, I think they're the most late game frame in all of Warframe. They require rank 4 with the Hex Syndicate, and you to beat basically every quest in the game that's a main story quest. So basically, late game Hex Syndicate stuff. Are they worth it? I would say, yeah. Now that we've had all the Exalteds reworked, you can now basically get free elite weekly missions with Exalted frames. You got Baruch, easy ETA clear. You got Temple / Flare / Lizzie, whatever you want to call them. I like to call them Flare. Then there you go. You got an Exalted Flamethrower. No melee range required. So, highly recommend it because they don't take away your Exalted when you're in an ETA. So, yeah, go ahead and grab Temple. You could buy them if you want to. You know, it is a little bit unfortunate, though, that, and it makes sense. The guitar Lizzie will talk if you have the Temple proto-frame skin, but they do not talk if you don't have it. So, it definitely feels like you're missing a big part of the frame without having the guitar talking. So, if you do like what you see, you like the idea of Temple, I'd say definitely buy the skin. It makes the character a lot more fun, too. Some of the voice lines of Flare are pretty fun in Mission. And yeah, just been having a really good time playing Temple. Hopefully you have as well, guys. Hopefully the bug is not ruining the fun for you. Oh, by the way, when you slide as Temple with Lizzie, do like a stage slide. Lots of fun stuff there, so. I'll do an update if they do end up fixing Ripper's Whale, not flying to DOTs. But until then, guys, have a great time playing Temple. Have a great time playing the update. We'll have, I think we're going to have a Coda Synapse video on Monday, weekly reset video tomorrow, and a ton more coming out soon. So I'll see you guys next video. Appreciate your support. Take it easy. Bye.